Hey guys, what is up? Diamond Brooks Productions here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be comparing the Tournament of Elements and the Gamers Market. Now, I just want to get off the bat that I think both of these sets are great minifigure-wise. The builds, I'll talk about them later, but the minifigures on both these sets I think are amazing. And there are a few problems here and there, but I'll talk about them later. But yeah, I kind of hope this becomes a staple, so every year we get like a new Ninjago minifigure set. Kind of like these two. I mean, this is the one for 2020, this is one for 2021. So, yeah. I'll begin with the minifigures, and then I'll talk about displayability, because these sets don't really have like too many plate features. Of course, there are a few here and there, but I'll mainly just talk about the minifigures, references and all that, and the displayability of the sets. So yeah. So, on the right here, we have the Gamers Market. Both of these sets retail for $30 USD. I believe in New Zealand, which is my home country, I believe this is a $60 set. You get 9 minifigures and 3 builds. And I ended up getting this for my 14th birthday last year. Here, we have the Tournament of Elements, which is also $30. Although in New Zealand this is $55, and you get 7 minifigures and only 1 build, but it's a lot larger. So, yeah. So, let's get on with the minifigure comparisons. Something I find kind of interesting is that both sets have a J minifigure in them, although this is his rebooted Tournament of Elements Legacy version. This here is his Prime Empire version. Personally, I like the Prime Empire version a lot more, just because it's just more unique. Of course, we have seen the video game stuff done lots of times, like with other media, while having a big tournament is, you know, kind of unique for cartoons. Of course, reality shows exist, but we're not talking about them. So, yeah, and you can't really see much of his back printing, so I'll take a few things off. This is how they look with both of their their attachments removed and all that. They have different face prints. I kind of like this one a little more just because it's exclusive, but this one I think is just more useful. And turning the figures around, yeah, you can see the torso prints there. Now, this is interesting because apparently in 2021, the Legacy Ninja kind of got like a new torso design because in the previous 2020 ones, they made a spelling mistake, because this text here is supposed to say Master, but last year it said Manta. This year they fixed it. I don't know if they're going to go back or change it. They probably have, they probably haven't. I'm not sure. Tell me in the comments. Now, both of these sets have exclusive minifigures in them. The Tournament of Elements has 4. Golden Lloyd, Belobo, Gravis, and, what's this guy's name again? Oh, Jacob. For the Gamers Market, there's Arkino, Pink Zane, and Hiromi. Now, I feel like that all 4 of these figures are great and highly desirable, especially Golden Lloyd, because this is the 10th anniversary version of him. I don't think I'm going to go extremely in-depth with these, just to save a bit of time, but I feel like all 4 of these figures are amazing. Of course, Golden Lloyd never really appeared in the show, because this is basically just something that's put in the sets just to celebrate 10 years of Ninjago, so I'll get him out of the way. Now, the 3 Elemental Masters are, well, interesting. Let's talk about Belobo first. Now, there are some problems I have with him. First of all, in the show, he's wearing a tank top, but here, he's shirtless. I don't know why they had to make the change. Another problem is that around the same time, Lego released this figure in Series 21. Look how similar they are. I mean, why does he look so similar to the Castaway? They've even got the same earpiece and generally the same design. And the face print underneath is Jack's from Hidden Side. And isn't Jack like 13, 14 years old and this is like a 30 or 40-year-old man? I don't get that. The staff I actually really appreciate. I like how they did the staff. Now, Gravis is also kind of inaccurate, but it doesn't really bother me as much. The torso, I think, is actually perfect. However, in the show, this is interesting because he used the old turban piece, but of course that piece was retired, so they had to get in a new turban piece, which is this one, which I think was introduced in Series 13 of LEGO CMFs, and he had this leg printing in the show. Now, I know a figure that probably has really good leg printing for him. Okay, I haven't tried this yet, but if you have the barrel escape, then you'll know about the Mercadolf Chief from that set. And his legs look a lot like the ones that come in the show version of him, so let's try it out. Okay, this looks so much better, in my opinion. I mean, look at him. He has leg printing now, and it's almost perfect. I mean, of course, in Universe, Gravis doesn't have the keys there. I don't know why I'm pronouncing his name Gravis, it should be Gravis, but wow, these legs are basically perfect. They do look better in person just because of, you know, the lighting I have. It's not really that hard, sorry, it's not that easy to appreciate it in the video, but it looks really good in real life. So if you have the Mercadolf Chief, I highly recommend doing this to your Gravis. And last but certainly not least, Jacob. Now, Jacob, out of the 3 Elemental Masters, he's probably the closest to his original version. Like, there are a few inaccuracies. First of all, his guitar. I really appreciate them reusing this. However, it's inaccurate because in the show, it's like this blue banjo with orange stripes on it and that. So, yeah. Now, looking at the torso printing, and just looking at the reference picture here, it's different. It doesn't have this little, whatever this is, I'm not sure. However, comparing this to the one in the show, this is a lot more detailed, so it's actually kind of good that it's inaccurate. And also, with his glasses in the show, they were just round sunglasses with stars in them. For here, his eyes are just straight up shaped like stars. But I'm not really bothered by that, because it's a bit more useful if you think about it, and kind of more realistic. Now, I feel like that most people probably don't really care about Okino that much, like, just when the first pictures were revealed. I mean, personally, when I first saw the first pictures of the Gamers Market, I was more interested in these two, but Okino is a pretty cool figure. The only exclusive part of him, I think, now is just the hairpiece, which is actually extremely useful, so I could see some Avatar The Last Airbender fans wanting this to make, I don't know, a custom Zuko or something. So, yeah, I really appreciate this figure, and may as well take a look at Hiromi next, just because, you know, she's falling over. Everyone's falling over. Now, the thing with Hiromi is that I feel like that the people who want to get the set for this figure in particular probably aren't Ninjago fans. They probably want this because of the Kill Bill outfit. I mean, swap out the hands and ignore the yellow bit on the torso, and you basically can just make yourself a purist Kill Bill. I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know if she has an actual name or anything. All I know is that she's an assassin, but, like, this is basically a Kill Bill figure, and I think that's really cool. So, yeah. But I feel like the main thing that sold the set was Pink Zane. Now, his name's escaping me, but it's the voice actor for Zane. But apparently I think he got sent the set just because of Pink Zane, so I think that's actually pretty cool. And this is something fans have been wanting for a very long time. Now, there is some inconsistencies. First of all, I kind of wish that they didn't use this head. And I'm just going to get out an actual 2011 Ninja figure. And as you can see, this one has back printing, he doesn't. I don't really understand that, but then again, they have to update it. Now, here are all the non-exclusive figures, aside from, you know, the J's. So, for the tournament of elements, there's Legacy Kai, which, this is new for 2021 just because of the torso, so yeah, but apart from that, it's the exact same as last year's. Aizawa is kind of weird, because he's the only Anaconda cultist included in any of the Legacy sets for this year, which doesn't make sense to me. I mean, like, sure, he was kind of a hard character to get back then, but he came in 2 sets and had 2 different variants. First time we got him was in the Chondrocopter, which I actually do own that set. Second time was in the Ultra Stealth Raider, but then again, he was a snake in that set. So, yeah. But he's really similar to that original 2015 one. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to compare them. Personally, I think that the non-exclusives for the Gamers Market are a lot more interesting. I mean, first of all, you get a great army builder with the red visor. I mean, there's a whole bunch of these in the show, and this is a really cool minifigure, so I'm glad that they included him. Another great inclusion is Scott, because he only comes in one of the set, and it's a really crappy set. It's like that car. So I'm glad that they included him in here, because he's a really cool figure. And there's also Richie the Rat, which I believe he comes in quite a lot of sets, but it's a good inclusion, I suppose. It's just I'd rather get someone else. And then the final two figures are probably some of the worst figures in the whole Prime Empire wave. There's Nia and Digi Cole. Now, my problem with these is that they're just using generic city parts. I guess they just had leftover budget, which I guess is cool and all. And, you know, I'm glad that I'm getting 2 extra figures, but they're not really that elaborate, and I don't think it would have really made much of a difference if they weren't included. Although, I didn't have this torso piece before, and this hair piece is a good inclusion, but these are probably the 2 figures that, let's be honest, we're all looking forward to the least. So, when it comes to figures, what set has the better figures? I'm gonna have to go with Tournament of Elements. I mean, you get 4 exclusive figures, and all of the minifigures are new, when the games market just had, pieces like, you know, Cole here, that was just using generic city pieces, and I'm gonna be honest, I kind of prefer quality over quantity, so I'm gonna give props to Tournament of Elements. Okay, so here are both of the main builds of the set. We'll take a look at the games market first, and then the Tournament of Elements. Now, the games market is 3 separate builds. There's a weapon stand, an entrance, and a little avatar character customizer. Let's take a look at everything from left to right, and this likes to fall off. So, here is the little weapon shop. Now, of course, you get one of those little accessory packs that's like a whole bunch of these weapons. You also get one in that set, but it's in green. And the thing with this build is that I think it's a cool concept, but the execution was a little off, because it's kind of an eyesore. I mean, it's just this really ugly neon green colour. And, like, I feel like when it's completely transparent like that, I think it looks good, but when it's kind of frosted like this, because of the softer plastic, it just does not look good in my opinion. So, yeah. You can kind of articulate these a little bit. And turning around, you do have some extra weapons, which I guess is good for playability. And, you can put a figure on these studs here, and you can have the person selling some stuff. So, this is an okay build, it's just I really do not like the colour scheme of it. As for the skate build, it's kinda nothing. I mean, there's a cool stickered panel, and because it's a sticker, you don't have to put it on. I'm actually kind of happy with how I align that, because I'm usually awful at aligning stickers. But nothing really to it, although there is this little accessory of the Kitana, which, for a pun, that's actually a really cool name, not gonna lie, and this is a really cool piece. I'm glad to have this. And kind of just slots in here, it's kind of like a Technic connection. And here's the little character customizer, and you're supposed to put Pink Zane here. And there are a whole bunch of hats here, which is pretty cool. I mean, you have Benny's hat uncracked, you have this hat from Fantastic Beasts, you have like a knight's helmet, a top hat, a conical hat, and a fedora. This is pretty good. Probably my favourite build out of the 3. So, now let's take a look at the Tournament of Elements. Now, there are a few accessories. There's one of these that you put a figure on, and then, yeah. There's also a spinner, which is a really good inclusion, because this is a kind of a big piece, and it's dual molded and has glitter. So, I'm really happy with this, and because it's clear, you can just use it for pretty much anyone. It's not specific to a certain character. The whole build, however, is all connected. It is in 3 different sections, but it's all connected, which, first of all, is great for transport. I mean, like, this is so light and just easy to move around, which makes it a lot easier to display, in my opinion. And overall, I think this just looks just a lot nicer as a display piece, because, like I said, this is kind of an eyesore. I really like the colours of this, with the gold, the black, and the red. Those 3 colours work so well together. And I feel like that there's a bit more playability with this set. Like, with here, there's this little trap here, I suppose, and you can kind of move it around. You even get Klaus's spellbook, which is such a good inclusion. And this is also kind of modular, because you can kind of remove these little parts here, and there's even some roller skates in here, which is a reference to that roller derby challenge. And there's even a weapons rack you can remove, and you can kind of rearrange everything how you want it. So, I feel like that's really good for playability, and also good for displayability, because you can replace these crates and that with figures if you really, really wanted to. Moving up onto the top floor, keep in mind I kind of messed up a sticker here, so just ignore that, but there's lots of room to pose minifigures. I mean, like, I can put like 2 or 3 more figures on there. And another really cool little reference is that in this little thing here, you open it up and there's a jade blade. And I think that works really well. The original jade blades, although I kind of like the shape and mold of it a bit better, it couldn't fit in there. So there's another reference to a challenge where Jacob fights Skylar. And there's another weapons rack, and I believe there's supposed to be the rack with all of the jade blades that have been collected. And you can take that off and move it around if you really, really wanted to. And, of course, there's a little top area, but that's not really too elaborate, but I feel like just this here is just great. So, displayability, I'm definitely going to go with this set, and may as well talk about playability. So, I feel like that, this set in particular, the Gamers Market, I feel like it's a little bit better for role-playing, just because, you know, you get 2 different stores, and you can kind of customize your figures. I mean, it's pretty much encouraged in the set, and yeah. And I feel like this is a good expansion to the, Temple of Madness set, because of this build here. So I feel like this is really good for playability, because you can make your own minifigures pretty much, and it's just good for role-playing. This set here is also really good for playability. I mean, you get so many references. You can recreate pretty much 3 different challenges. You can recreate the Vast Challenge, the Skate Challenge, and the first one that they ever did, where they have to find the Jade Blades. So that's this little spinner thing here. And there's even a plant here that you can put Belobo on. So, overall, I think it's going to be a tie for playability, because both of them, I think, are equally as good. So, that means that there's 1 point to Gamers Market and 3 points to this set here. So, overall, I think if you had to buy one of them, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to have both, but if you could only buy one, I'm going to recommend the Tournament of Elements, because you get a better minifigure selection, and it's just a better display piece in general, I think. I mean, it just is more appealing to the eye, in my opinion. Of course, it's just my opinion. If you like the Gamers Market better, then, yeah, fine with that. Cool. Good for you. But, personally, I prefer the Tournament of Elements, just because it has a better figure selection and all that. And, you know, it's actually a good-looking set, and I can't really fit the rest of the figures on here, so I'll just leave them here. Overall, yeah, I had lots of fun doing a comparison. I kind of want to do more of them soon, so tell me in the comments if you want to see more. And, well, see you later.